You ever notice how the folks screaming loudest about community harmony are usually the first ones to set the whole place on fire just to keep control? Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. And if you'd told me the simple dream of building my own place in the woods would end up turning into a federal-grade HOA street fight, well, I would have laughed you right off my porch. But let me tell you what started as my chance at peace turned into an all-out battle over sawdust fake authority and who gets to call the shots out here in High Meadow Pines. See, when I first stumbled onto that 10-acre patch of pine and rolling hill, I felt like I'd finally made it. Just quiet, land, perfect slope, no HOA on paper, and a gravel road winding far enough from the world to breathe again. I checked that detail about HOA lines at least a dozen times. I'm a contractor, from Idaho, originally spent half my life working around folks who lose their minds if you so much as trim a hedge without a meeting. I thought I'd outsmarted them all. The plan was simple, modern, live work, loft, open workshop, nothing flashy, just solid bones and honest work. A couple days after I moved a trailer onto the site, started hauling in lumber and stacking windows, that's when I saw her. You know the type. White sneakers, zipped vest badge dangling from her windbreaker like a sheriff about to hand out speeding tickets at Bible camp. Didn't wave, didn't smile, just marched right up and started picking a fight over visual harmony. Didn't even introduce herself until I asked, and when she finally did Karen Gillespie, compliance officer for the High Meadow Pines HOA, it was like she expected me to bow down right there in my muddy boots. "Your construction is disrupting the community's visual corridor," she sniffed. And I almost spit out my coffee. "Visual corridor," I asked. "Lady, your people have inflatable Santas taller than my work truck." But Karen had her script, and no amount of county permits or property deeds was going to change her tune. "We have standards," she said, lips so tight I wondered if her dentist knew she had teeth. She promised a cease and desist notice and stomped off like I'd thrown a beer can on her tulips. I just shook my head, set up a couple motion cameras, and figured, yeah, here we go. Next morning, sure enough, fresh chalk X's on my drive. Blurry video hoodie figure looked just Karen's height. I scrubbed it off, swapped my fence for welded gate poles, and went back to framing like nothing happened. Wasn't even 3 days before she came cruising back, this time in a black SUV, window down, but never stepping out. "You'll be hearing from the county," she called, like that was supposed to scare me. I said, "Tell them I make good coffee," and she drove off in a huff. Now, if you've never had an HOA target on your back, let me warn you, it starts with silly threats, but it never stops there. 3 days passed quiet as a graveyard, and then, here comes county planning. Older guy, reflective vest, clipboard, real official. But you could tell he hated the drama. I showed him every permit, every zoning clearance, and he just nodded, checked my map, and said, "Yep, you're outside their boundary." But he had to log the visit, said to be ready, because sometimes these HOA types, they escalate to state level or environmental services. I stuck a giant orange erosion control sign up that afternoon just for show. That night, flyer showed up in my mailbox. Glossy print, bold letters screaming about unregulated construction, grainy photo of my trailer, like it was a meth lab. Neighbors supposedly quoted, worried about chemicals and peace. Real subtle right cameras caught a hoodie figure, same size, same build as before slipping them in at 2 a.m. Did it stop me? Hell no. I started flying my drone overhead while I worked time-stamped footage just in case. Sure enough, blocked calls, voicemails, Karen's voice. "You've been warned, Mr. Westbrook. You can still do the right thing. Lady, you don't know who you're dealing with. I've survived angry clients, lawsuits, even one idiot who tried arson on a job site. This was amateur hour." But she didn't quit. Saturday rolls around, I'm sawing trim, and 3 guys in neon vests show up with a flatbed hauling concrete barricades like they're fortifying a border. "Roads closed," the biggest one says, "by order of the HOA. I just started recording. This is county land. You block my driveway, you're breaking the law." Cue Karen stepping out from behind the truck with her walkie-talkie reciting emergency access protocol like she's in a bad episode of Law & Order. "Took all of 20 minutes for the sheriff to roll up." Deputy Lopez, calm, no nonsense, listens to both sides, checks my documents, and tells Karen flat out, Your jurisdiction ends 40 yards east. You block this road again, it's criminal mischief. The crew dumped the barricades in the weeds and left. Karen glared like she could set me on fire with her eyes. I just said, that's what every Bond villain says before they get arrested. After that, I put up more cameras, more lights, bigger signs, private property, no HOA. By then you'd think she'd run out of tricks, but bullies don't quit easy. Next morning I found a rusted barrel marked flammable dead center in my drive. Didn't touch it, just pulled the footage, Karen's bearded lackey, same one from before, dragging it at 2:28 a.m. Called the fire marshal who showed up with the HOA safety patrol. I played the footage, the marshal watched, then called the sheriff. Deputies flagged the incident as open investigation, trespass, attempted sabotage. Karen showed up pretending she'd heard about a dangerous situation. Fire marshal told her straight, filing a false complaint is a crime, right? Karen froze, stammered, denied knowing the guy in the video. Meanwhile, neighbors peeking over fences, phones out, watching the whole train wreck. She stormed off. And if you're counting by now, she's up to sabotage, false reports, and trespassing. But she still wasn't done. A couple days later, Deputy Lopez showed up with a court order Karen had flagged him down to enforce. Only problem: it was a fake bad seal wrong case number judge who'd retired 5 years back. Lopez called it in, clerk laughed, and now Karen was on file for attempted forgery. Later that day, she came back with a local news crew waving her phony paper and demanding I stop work. I filmed the whole thing, her the cameraman, the forged order, uploaded it. Community didn't buy it. County prosecutor called me that night. We take falsifying court documents very seriously. Please submit your security footage. And that's when things hit a different gear. Next morning, my truck tires all 4 slashed. No note, just a warning. I called my old friend Doug, former federal fraud investigator. You want a real case, I said. I got one. Doug flew out with a bag of legal books, spent a night in my trailer, and by morning he had enough evidence for a full-scale investigation. Fake HOA letters, bogus fees, altered permits, and more. Turns out Karen had been running a shadow government from her living room. Faked violations, extra infrastructure fees never approved by the county, signatures traced from title papers, intimidation campaigns against anyone who pushed back. One brave neighbor, Carla, met me at a gas station and handed over stories, emails, payment receipts, years of Karen's con game. Doug worked with the prosecutor, and within a week the county raided Karen's place. Found stacks of fake documents, money orders, voice memos of her laughing about scamming neighbors. They arrested her on a laundry list of felonies, fraud, impersonating officials, harassment. By sunset, High Meadow Pines was in an uproar, some folks mad, others relieved, but mostly folks just realized they'd all been taken for a ride. Civil suits rolled in, county froze, the HOA's accounts, prosecutor filed charges, and within 3 weeks I stood in court. Doug by my side and got awarded $650,000 for damages, lost business, and emotional distress. Karen denied bail, awaiting trial. HOA dissolved. Neighborhood free for the first time in years. I didn't party. I went to the hardware store, bought a steel pole, welded up a sign, "No HOA zone." This property operates under the United States Constitution. Just to remind everyone, Karen's trial dragged on, but her empire was gone. The fake authority crumbled like cheap drywall. These days, my shop is up and running. Orders come in from all over. Folks stop by, ask advice, swap stories about their own HOA headaches. Doug and I even started a little consulting gig for landowners, helping folks stand up to fake authority, giving them the tools to fight back. I guess I'm a symbol now for land rights, whether I wanted it or not. But you know what? Fake power only works when people let it. Karen yelled about harmony while breaking every rule in the book. Once you drag that into the daylight, the only thing left is a bad memory and a lesson in standing your ground. So what do you think ever tangled with an HOA bully or seen one try to take over where they didn't belong? Drop your stories below. Let's see who's really the boss of their own backyard. And if you believe in real justice, not just the kind stamped on a fake letterhead, hit subscribe and share your thoughts on what makes a community fair or just plain free.